He was the champion Florida didn't deserve. 50 years ahead of his time, he fought endlessly to conserve and protect Florida's natural resources. His legacy is generations of inspired anglers and outdoorsmen who have taken up the fight in his absence.
The sport fishing interests are just one aspect of the general public. The key is to get everyone behind this and get it passed. They need to sign petitions and they need to donate funds. This thing really needs funds to match the commercial war chest. You know, they have great profits that they can put into this battle, and we don't.
He was the first to recognize that people mean more than money. And a simple idea like putting the coupon in a magazine that could be signed and returned led to the banning of all gill nets in the state of Florida. Those monumental legislative wins and monthly conservation pieces in his magazine were the foundation for this movement and for the generations of inspired anglers fighting today.
Carl Wickstrom and Florida Sportsman magazine, huge growing up. That's all there was. We didn't have Instagram or Facebook or YouTube to go learn how to tie a knot or read how to catch them. We waited for that magazine to come in, and buddy, it was thick and full of info, and I read it from cover to cover multiple times. My first taste of conservation was reading Carl's stuff. You know, started to learn from him and read about it. Then I got to meet him after I started guiding. Then I got to take him fishing several times, really enjoyed his company. And you know, people don't realize all that he did for all of us, not only just locally in Stuart, but everyone. It makes you want to step up and keep it going. I think it's our duty to keep jumping up and down and making noise until we get this situation corrected. Not exactly what I had planned for this morning, but got a little backup plan, like always. I figure what we're gonna do is we're gonna wait a little bit for the tide to come up and the sun to come up. And with all this wind, hopefully it'll blow these clouds out of here. In the meantime, maybe we can slide into the back, into some of these back coves, real protected areas, throw some of those big topwater plugs you were telling me about, and see if we can get some action. There's been some big predators back there.
That sounds like fun. It quickly became evident that the fishing was going to be tough. The conditions were worse than tough. We were just hoping to catch something to get the day started. And as soon as we get to this first flat, I make one cast and I'm on, Snook on. That's what I'm talking about.
I didn't know we started yet. All right.
Yes.
Nice. Welcome to Stuart.
Stuart is known for its fishing. It's known for sailfish, it's known for big snook and tarpon, and waterways that are very healthy and clean water with a lot of grass.
Thank you, Captain Ed.
All right, look at that.
That fell right out of his mouth.
Good work.
Awesome.
The St. Lucie River was never connected to Lake Okeechobee historically. It was connected simply for flood control. During high rainy season and in flood season, the Army Corps is required to send water out of Lake Okeechobee. Unfortunately, that water is nutrient laden. In some cases has green algae in it. And they send it down the St. Lucie River and it goes into the crossroads down near Stuart. And with an incoming tide, it's forced into the surrounding estuaries and into the Indian River. This is not a freshwater estuary. It's not meant to get any fresh water from the lake. So when Lake O is discharged into the St. Lucie River, it causes major chaos.
In my world, I consider this ground zero, of course, but I grew up here in Martin County and I've guided on this lagoon for the last 20 years. So I've seen it really, really good, and now, you know, really, really tough.
There we go.
There you go.
Trout.
All right.
There's a trout.
There you go. Still a trout in Stuart. Our trout populations have really plummeted here.
Well, that's obvious because I fully expected to catch a bunch of trout coming here.
Well,
and
in the past, yeah. You know, matter of fact, some of the largest trout in the state have been caught right here. You know, the state record was caught here the last 2 times. Something just flashed right here, Benny.
There's a trout right here. Ah, just lost him. What I've learned traveling around the state is that there is an absolute connection with the trout population and the health of the grass. The baby trout need grass for refuge and to seek prey. And the big trout need grass for camouflage. Without grass, there's no trout.
This segment is brought to you by Penn. Let the battle begin. Florida Sportsman Watermen is sponsored in part by these fine companies.
We finally get in on the flat, and there's enough water to get the boat in. Clouds move out. I'm like, all right, living right. Things are looking up, kind of feeling out the flat. You know, every day's a little bit different, so we're doing our zigzag in, zigzag out, looking over here, looking over there, a little deeper, a little shallower. See some ospreys diving, hitting some mullet, and water's nice and clean. Next thing I know, here comes a stud pompano. Benny makes a perfect cast. Bam. You got him. Nice. Yeah. What we got there, a little pompano?
Yep.
Yeah, cool. Man, they are awesome in this shallow water.
Looks like a friggin' permit. It was so great to see pompano on the flat. Stuart is absolutely known for pompano fishing. It's one of the few places you can come and actually sight fish them on a regular basis.
That was cool.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Awesome, man.
Thanks for that. That was awesome. He didn't want to eat it right away. I had to feed him. It was great.
Whoa, nice fish, dude.
Yeah.
Chunky
That's
pompano.
what I'm talking about. Good job.
Dang, brother. Look at him.
Yes.
Beautiful. Stud. So fishing with Benny? No, just kidding.
All right, Flip.
Fishing with Benny, we had a blast. Good angler, and it's nice to have somebody on the boat that can see fish. And when you get ready to say, there's fish, he's already ready to make the cast. So that's always a pleasure and super enjoyable.
Yeah.
It's a happy pompano.
Good job, buddy. Thanks so much for that.
Awesome.
This fishery is so dynamic. One minute you're fishing a flat, the next you're on a mangrove shoreline, and then you're on a dock, and then crossing a big bay, and then fishing a seawall. This fishery is extremely versatile, and so you must be versatile. The most versatile fishermen are the most successful. Excellent.
There he is.
Good job, man.
Cool. All right, plugging away at him. So I started guiding because I love fishing, I love being outdoors. And from guiding, all these other opportunities popped up, and one of it was tournament fishing. So I fished the IFA and fished the Redfish Cup, and I learned so much being on the road traveling, finding fish, learning how to make those fish bite.
There we go.
All right, nice work, Benny. Oh, that's one. Look at him on the surface. That's beautiful, dude. Growing up here, I've always heard about all these other great fisheries, and I wanted to go fish them. And fishing those tournaments allowed me to get out and travel and see a bunch of different venues. And what I realized was we have such a special place here at home. There's nothing like it anywhere else. Man, this might be yours. I don't know.
Join us for this week's On the Conservation Front as we dive deeper into critical water issues facing the state. Florida Sportsman has been leading the fight on the conservation front lines for over 50 years.
The St. Lucie River has long suffered from dirty, fresh discharges from Lake Okeechobee. We're here today with Alex Gillen, Policy Director of bullsugar.org, to discuss some management changes that will hopefully stop these massive discharges once and for all. Alex, why are Lake Okeechobee waters discharged into the St. Lucie River?
Water used to flow from the headwaters of the Kissimmee River down to Florida Bay. We made a policy decision to reclaim land south of Lake Okeechobee. We dammed the river of grass and redirected the flow that would go south, east and west to the St. Lucie and Caloosahatchee rivers.
What specifically is being done right now to stop these damaging discharges once and for all?
The law that governs how we operate the system was written in 1948, at a time when Florida had 2.5 million people. Today, Florida has 21 million people. This law is antiquated and needs to be updated. The 1948 law calls for the Army Corps to consider irrigation, navigation, recreation, enhancement of fish and wildlife, and flood control as the congressionally authorized purposes for the management of Lake Okeechobee. Now what you'll notice there is they don't have health and human safety of people as one of their priorities. At Bull Sugar, we've been working with a member of Congress to fix that, to include health and human safety as a priority for the Army Corps of Engineers in managing the system.
Understandably, there's been much public outcry. What more can affected residents do to keep your voices loud and clear?
Stay informed. Go to bullsugar.org, sign up for our email updates. Go to public meetings, ask hard questions, and contact your elected officials and ask them if they are doing everything they can to solve this problem.
Powered by Ram Trucks, built to serve. Florida Sportsman Watermen is sponsored in part by these fine companies.
Stuart is made up of a strong fishing community. Guides young and old, big and small, all enjoy this fishery. My friend Captain Buddy Kirkhart comes from a long line of fishermen, and it's evident he knows this fishery like the back of his hand.
Buddy, excited to be out here with you, man.
Yeah, man.
Stuart is a pretty amazing fishery.
It's incredibly diverse. We have inshore fishing galore and offshore fishing literally like 3 miles out. We can get into sailfish and all the pelagic species.
That's what I heard, and the weather today is supposed to be perfect, so we should take advantage. We're in the Marquesa.
Yep.
And we can fish inshore, we can do everything real shallow, but I think we're gonna test it.
Yep.
Which sounds like fun.
Yep, a little offshore adventure.
Let's do it.
All right.
I've been dying to catch cobia. All I had on my mind was brown and white. Every fisherman knows that when you want to catch a species so bad it hurts, that it seems like forever until you get that bite.
So what happens to these fish when the discharges come?
Well, when we get the massive discharges like we've had in past years, the brown plume will extend all the way out. You know, we're right here on the 3 mile mark, but when those discharges come, the brown water pushes these fish out off of the 6 and 8 mile reef. And, you know, this area in here normally will hold, you know, kingfish, bonitas, sailfish, the occasional dolphin, and of course cobia. And all of those fish push offshore.
The boats all around us, we're getting bites. We're watching another angler catch a fish, and we're wondering if it's ever gonna happen. And before you know it, Buddy's rod is bent in half.
Nice cob.
Is he gonna be a shark? Do you wanna chase him?
He's not too nervous at the
If
moment.
you come down, I can get the net out of there.
Yep. Come on, don't get down. Don't go down there. That is not a place for you. Come up here.
Just stay
Here
on
he
that,
comes, Benny.
Stay on that angle right there. Gotcha.
There we go.
Yes! Woo! Yes! Cobia are a fierce competitor. Maybe one of the best fighting fish out there. They never give up. And because you're straight up and down, they have the advantage the entire fight.
Typical cobia. Oh, he just broke me off.
Broke you off?
Yeah.
Here I am still dying to catch a cobia. Buddy caught one, I lost one, Buddy lost one. Will it ever happen?
Woo.
Oh, this is the real deal right here.
That's a good one. All right.
This is another reason why I like to fish on the flats. They can't go down.
This fish right away knew it had the advantage. Straight up and down, 50 feet of line between me and the fish. With this light tackle, I can barely move her.
This is not a redfish.
No, it's not.
Okay, back of the boat. No.
Holy smokes, dude. All right,
Yes.
ready?
Yep. Yes. Woo-hoo! Yes. Ah, this is a great fish, man.
Yeah, it is.
But we got a bunch of bull sharks around us,
Yeah,
and we let a couple smaller ones go. And if you're gonna take a fish,
this is the one to take.
that's right. And my daughters love cobia.
Yeah,
so
yeah, my wife does too.
I can go home and actually be a hero once.
There you go.
We definitely could have caught more cobia. There were plenty of them around. The bite just picked up. Everyone around us was hooking up, but the wind was picking up as well. And it made a lot of sense for us to go back inshore.
So as soon as that, nutrient-rich water starts coming out, we'll start feeling ill. We'll get the sore throats, we'll get runny noses, all stuff, all that. And I went in and got tested, and like many others, I tested positive for cyanobacteria in my nasal passages. But yeah, the long-term effects are still outstanding. We don't know what's going to happen.
We had a few baits left for cobia fishing, but we were running out. But we could hear the snook in the distance crushing bait on top, and the mullet were flipping everywhere, and there was a lot of activity. It made a lot of sense to go to a topwater plastic. And it didn't take long to get a big snook to come up and suck her down.
Ooh.
I think he's done.
She's barely hooked, dude.
I know. I'm baiting her right now.
This was a big snook, a big female snook. And you could tell she had been through this before. I was using every trick in the book. Tarpon tricks, bonefish tricks, everything I could do to keep this fish in the water and not jump and keep that hook in her mouth.
Nice. Holy crap.
Head up.
Yes! Woo! That's what I'm talking about. That's a full-grown one.
That's a good fish right there.
Yeah, buddy. Want to eat too. That was amazing. Thank you so much, buddy.
Absolutely.
Great day on the water. Great day.
Anytime.
This segment is brought to you by Power Pole. Swift, silent, secure.
A little bit better conditions, not so cloudy.
Feels fishy.
Yeah, a little bit less wind. I always think, no matter how tired I am or beat up, every morning when I take off, it's like full of energy, renewed, ready to do it again. Tide's right, the wind's right, we're gonna hit these docks. This is a nice old one with a lot of growth on it. This is what you're really looking for when you're looking for a productive dock to fish. This thing's been here for a long time. And traditionally, it'll hold some fish. Look, get your bait in his mouth. No, just kidding. We talked earlier about Carl Wickstrom and the magazine. You know, him and I had fished together several times, and he was always just a lot of fun to have on the boat. And it would be, but he had done so much that people forget or don't even realize. The net ban is a big thing, but he was instrumental in getting redfish put on the game species list.
That was huge.
That was huge.
We wouldn't have any reds
The
today.
FCA, which is now the CCA, he was a big part of that, getting going. And then locally, the Oceanographic Center, he was just a part of everything. And we need to carry on what he started.
Got a lot of snook this morning, man. A lot of eats, a lot of jumps. That's great.
Not too bad. Let's put him back, keep fishing a little bit, and hopefully the sky clears up. We'll get out there, do some sight fishing.
Stuart is a community of people who love the water, and they're generally aware of what's going on. And every opportunity they can to express how they feel about the discharges coming from Lake Okeechobee, they do so.
The smell was so bad, though, that just being outside for a few minutes, your lungs started burning. That was just toxic blue-green algae getting airborne.
What we don't know, but what we're learning quickly, is that cyanobacteria is causing major human health effects with the residents in this area.
you're getting a situation where you have neurological diseases, you've got harmful toxic discharges that are killing dogs, harming a way of life that's one of those things that you have to speak out for. It's not, you don't have a choice.
Understanding that there are human health risks involved now increase the stakes to a level we've never seen before.
I guided out here a lot, but then every day when I dropped my customers off, I would come back out and walk around while the sun was up like this. So I really knew every little nook and cranny of this system right here. And it was quite a bit different then. You can see it's kind of barren, just a little bit of grass regrowth and a lot of algae. But this particular flat used to have grass that was up over your knees. And it was pretty amazing. This right here, looks like a pompano. Got him, got him. There he is.
Immediately, when you ask Ed about Stuart and the Crossroads and the Indian River and the St. Lucie River, is that he loves it.
Yeah, leaving Stuart, Jensen Beach, I've thought of it. I've thought of it a lot, you know. Every time we get the discharge, I just shake my head and get so frustrated. And then on the other side of that is, this is my home, this is where I grew up. I don't want to walk out and leave it. This river's been really, really good to me and my family. You know, I've supported my family for the last 20 years with this river. So, you know, I'm in the fight. I don't want to bail and leave. We got a little bit of a walk back to the boat, but worth it. That was a lot of fun.
That was so worth it. Great way to end the 2 days.
Yeah.
Fishing, that was awesome.
Yeah, we did a little bit of everything.
Caught so many species. Fish everywhere.
Yeah, a lot going on in Stuart. Still a lot of stuff going on, so.
We know that when the discharges stop, this place bounces back. The grass grows and the fish come back. When we stop the discharges for good, we are ensuring that we have clean water and healthy fisheries for generations to come.